Good evening, everybody, and you're welcome to today's class, which is going to be the first session in the third phase of our training. Um, the first thing that I want you to accept about this phase is that tonight's session is going to be different from every other one we've run before. Because when we did phase one and phase two, I basically showed you how to do something and you all followed along. In phase three, I'm going to be demonstrating only, and the decision is going to be your own. The class before this class, we had class on wireframing, isn't it? And that wireframing was intentionally brought before this class because I want you yourself to be the one to decide how your dashboard is going to look like and not follow exactly whatever I'm going to use, right? Same thing here too. So whatever charts you're going to be using, how to structure your reports, which stories you want to lead with, we are all going to be working on the exact same data set, but I'm very sure we are going to be producing different dashboards, and that is the point of today's class. And here is the most important thing I want to say right now. Tonight, we are not going to open Power BI at all, right? So if you're the kind of person that opens tools before understanding problems, well, our phase three is about to change that in you. It's about to challenge you in a very specific way, in a very specific manner, right? The best analysts that I've worked with, the best analysts that I've trained, the best analysts that I know, the best analysts that I've been mentored from, all of them always starts with one basic thing. And what is that thing? That thing is that they usually want to understand the business first. And that is what we term as domain knowledge. Understanding the business first before doing any form of analysis. And that is what tonight is really all about. Right? So let's go. So in phase one, I taught you how to clean um, and transform data. In phase two, we taught you how to model and structure data. Um, in phase three, we're going to be doing all of it by ourselves from scratch, but we're going to be working with a real or up to real data set, right? So we are not opening Power BI like I said tonight, but we are going to be exploring the data that was what? That was shared. Now, what are we doing tonight? Tonight, we are going to be doing two things, two parts. The first part is for us to learn about the business. What is the business? The business is BankyHospital, right? So we want to know about the business. Who is BankyHospital? Who uses the data? What questions must the final report answer, right? Then the second is we are going to talk about the data itself. We're going to open the Excel file. We're going to profile every table. We're going to start with the business requirement document in which you all are going to complete on your own before next Tuesday. So by the end of tonight, you should be able to explain the Banky Hospital dataset or the Banky Hospital itself, the company itself, to a stranger. You are going to be naming 6 questions your report must answer and describe each table in the dataset without even looking at the dataset again. Are we following me? So this is how real analysts work. We don't open the tool before we start working. No, we first go into the data to understand everything that I want to do before we are asked to solve anything. Are we following me, everybody? Are we following? Okay, good. So let's move. Now, let's talk about Banky Hospital. Banky Hospital. That is the client. And now we want to meet the client, Banky Hospital. So what is Banky Hospital or Banky Hospital Group? So the Banky Hospital Group is basically a private hospital group that operates across 6 geopolitical zones of Nigeria, right? So this hospital group has 6 branches. It has over 1,500 patients in their records. They have over 50 doctors on staff and more than 15,500 patients visits across the 3 years in which they started taking their data across 2023, 2024, and 2025. So this is not a small clinic. In fact, it is a multi-city hospital group that has a CEO, that has a finance director, that has branch managers and a medical team, each of whom wants different things from a dashboard. Are you following me? So what makes this data set very, very interesting for our purpose is that each branch exists in a different economic and social reality. And that is why when I was working on it, I make sure that it reflects the reality of each of the 6 geopolitical zones. Because a hospital in Lagos, the way it operates is usually very different than a hospital in Maiduguri, and we make sure that that data reflects that. Your job as an analyst is to find and communicate those differences clearly. Is to find and communicate what? Those differences clearly. Aside from that, is that the services that this hospital render, they span across outpatient consultants, inpatient admission, surgery, diagnostics, maternity care, and many more, in which we are going to see as we what? As we progress into the data. Now, the data, one of the columns that we have are the branches. The branches specifically, we need to talk about them because understanding this context is what will make our analysis insightful rather than us just creating a generic data set. Are you following me? Now, we know, for example, Lagos. Lagos is in the southwest region of Nigeria. We know that with Lagos, because based on how Lagos is deemed to have the highest patient volume. Lagos, because of having highest visit volume or patient volume, it will have the highest total revenue, isn't it? Also, it might have highest maybe HMO and private insurance as well. If you are coming back to talk about all this one again in your report, you are just saying being generic because we know that that is Lagos for you. Now, cardiology and oncology are heavy there because of lifestyle diseases, and these lifestyle diseases actually follow income level because the richer you are, the more prone to some type of diseases that you want to take care of. Are you following? Something like cardiology, that's the heart disease. People in a poor region might not be able to have the money to be taking care of managing a heart disease, so they may not be doing cardiology or oncology. You can see the difference now. So if someone has high blood pressure or is at risk of cancer, they are more likely to get screened and treated in Lagos than any other place, isn't it? Now, then we have Abuja, the North Central. In Abuja now, majority of the people there, government workers, civil servants, and some corporate organizations. Yes, corporate insurance are dominating that side. Interestingly, we will see in the data that Abuja has its own stuff as well, right? Also, we have Port Harcourt. In Port Harcourt, the south-south region, we can say majority of the money that we might pull from there is from the oil industry workforce. And this will also have very high insurance rates in the entire group because majority of people in the oil industry, they are all under health insurance, full, right? Then um we also have Enugu from the southeast. Enugu from the southeast is majorly a mid-income level location, right? Yes, they have strong pay, private pay culture, decent HMO, gynecology, obstetric visits is normal there. Kano in the northwest. Kano in the northwest usually is going to be dominant of people trying to use the NHIS. right? We're going to have a lot of pediatric visits because they give birth more than what we have in the southwest, isn't it? Same as obstetrics. They're going to have cases more on malaria, meningitis, childhood malnutrition, what's this, polio, etc. Are you following? Now, they will now have Maiduguri. If I ask anybody here that if you talk about Maiduguri and hospital, what is that very first thing that will come to your mind when you hear Maiduguri? When you hear Maiduguri, what comes to your mind? Can anybody tell me?
Boko Haram.
Boko Haram, yes. So you hear about Boko Haram. So meaning that there's usually going to be a lot of people that are experiencing trauma, a lot of people that are experiencing burns, gunshot wounds, emergency visits, stuff like that. And they would have also NHIS dominance there. But it has the lowest average bill. Because for people to come, if the price is too much, people will not come to the hospital. Now, why are we doing this? I'm doing this not because I want to talk about all this, but because I need everybody to understand what the data set is all about. Once you understand what data set is all about, once you understand the way the company is reasoning, you will know what you want to give your spectators. Now, before I tell you which branch generates the most total revenue, I want to hear your instincts. Drop it in the chat. Which branch do you think will give us more money out of all these branches? Which one do you think will give us money? Let me see. Based on all I've said, which of these branches do you think will generate more revenue from? Abuja? Are you sure? Okay. Lagos? Okay. Well, I was looking at Lagos, but we never can tell. Abuja could, Lagos could, but what will tell us the solution? What will tell us the answer, the accurate answer to that question, everybody? The dashboard. Now, the next question we ask ourselves, we have talked about the branches. First, if you notice, we talked about the company as a group. Then we talk about the branches. Then, what we need to talk about now is who will use the reports that we are creating. Who are the stakeholders? And this is a question I want you to sit with for a moment. Because if you build a dashboard and nobody uses it, does it matter? No. The only dashboard that matters are the ones that help real people make real decisions. So let us talk about who is going to use these reports. We have 5 types of stakeholders. One is the hospital CEO. The hospital wants to know basic questions. Are we growing? Which branches are profitable? Where should we invest our money into next? Your CEO wants to see everything in one glance, right? That is the CEO. The finance director wants to know, oh, how much revenue came from each payment type? What is our average bill trend? Are our collections improving or is our collections declining? When we say collections, that is about credit. Are you following me? People that owe us money. The medical director will want to know something different entirely. The medical director would want to know what are the most common diagnostics. The medical director would want to know which departments are generating the most revenue per visit. He would also want to know what does patient outcome look like across all the branches, or what is the productivity rate of my doctors? Are my doctors doing well at all? Same thing with the branch managers. They want to see their own branch only. They want to know their visit numbers. They want to know their revenue, their doctors, their patients. That they are not interested in the whole group. They just want their own slice out of everything. Then we have the operations team. What about this one? They want to know about their efficiency. They want to know how long are inpatients staying. What is the DAMA rate? Right? That is the patients who discharge themselves against medical advice. DAMA, discharge against medical advice. How many referrals are happening and where? Are we following everybody? Please, are we following?
Yes, sir.
So you can see that our class that we
Okay.
are doing today is quite very, very important that we are all following and we put our mind to it. All this allows you to be able to understand your business, one, the reality of each of the branches, two, now you are thinking like an analyst on who would use the reports. Are you following me? Now, let's go to the next. Out of all of this, right, which I'm showing you, to ask you 4 things a CEO might want to know from this data set. Obviously, what branch made the most money this year? Which department sees the most patients but earns the least? Are we growing year on year? Which payment type is the most reliable? And so and so and so. If you look at it squarely, the CEO wants to see everything. And when we are trying to do everything for the CEO, we need to make sure that we put all of it there. The reason that we are asking this, we are talking about this, is that before you touch the data, right? The reason why we are asking all this before you touch the data is that if you sit down and start building visuals without knowing what question each visual is answering, you will end up with a beautiful nonsense. You will end up with a beautiful dashboard that answers nothing specifically. And let me tell you, that happens more than you think. It happens what? More than you think. So you need to make sure that at least for each of your stakeholders, you know the questions that they are likely to want answers to. That shows that you know what you are what you are doing. Now let's go from here. Let's move to the 6 analytical questions. These 6 questions are the non-negotiable success criteria for our project. If your final dashboard cannot answer these 6 questions clearly, it is not finished. So write them down now. Look at it now. You can do a screenshot now because over the next few weeks, we're going to be trying to solve all of this. Question number 1 is, which geopolitical zone generates the most revenue for the group? Number 2, which department has the highest average bill but the fewest visits? 3, how does payments, the type of payments made, how does it affect the average length of stay across the branches? Which branches has the worst patient outcome rates? Meaning that what? When we say worst payment outcome rate, we are talking about the highest combined DAMA and as well as the disease percentage. Disease means death. And the 5th is, what is the year-on-year growth in visits from 2023 to 2024 to 2025? Are you following me, everybody? And what is the last and final question? The last and final question is, who is the top revenue generating doctor at its branch? Now, I want you to write down each of these. I'm going to be sharing you a template tonight, right? That template is called BRD. We call it Business Requirement Document. It is your success criteria. If you want your final dashboard to answer all these questions, you must have written it down somewhere so that you can always go back to it. You can always go back to it. Now, here is what I'm not going to tell you. There are other data stories hidden inside this data set that I have not listed here, and I did that intentionally. Things that you will find only when you dig deep into the numbers. One department generates an average bill that is more than double of another department. One branch has a seasonal pattern that does not match the others. One payment type shows a clear relationship with the length of stays, and it also has an implication, especially for those in the operations. You will see all these things when you are building your analysis, and finding them as well as including them in your presentation is what separates a good analyst from a what? From a great analyst. Are we following me, everybody? So that is the first part of our class tonight. We have discussed about the business. We have said everything you can say about the business, everything you need to know in preparation for our what? For our data. Now, the next thing is for us to do what? The next thing is for us to open our Microsoft Excel and then try to profile the data. Try to understand what is in each and every of the data. I am just sharing my screen now. Can I get a confirmation that everybody can see my screen? Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Oh, perfect. I'm just trying to make it bigger, especially for those who will be joining us online. So we have good, perfect, good, good. Okay, perfect. Now we have 8 tables in our data set: branch, department, payment type, diagnostics, doctors, patients, and visits. There's supposed to be one extra, which is for dates, right? But I want us to be able to do that on our own in Power BI. I didn't want to do it. I don't want to create it for you. I want it to be created by each and everybody because I have taught you how to do that. That is the 8 table you are going to be having, right? So it's 8 tables, one fact table, and several dimension tables. Out of everything that we have here: branch, department, payment type, diagnostics, doctors, patients, visit, can somebody tell me which of them is the only fact table that we have there? Anybody? Which of them do we think is the only fact table that is there? We have branch, we have department, we have payment type, we have diagnosis, we have doctors, we have patients, and we have visits. Which of them is the fact table? We have branch, we have department, we have payment type, we have diagnosis, we have doctors, we have think is the what? Is the fact table. Okay, Grace is saying it is patient. Okay, tell me, Grace, why do you think it is patient?
Okay, I think it is patience because without patience, we won't get diagnosis, we won't get doctors treating them, we won't get any data. So the patient has to come to the hospital first for us to be able to get other data.
Okay, you are correct, but that does that make it the fact table? Okay, let me ask again. The patient data, is it a descriptive data or a transactional data? Grace.
It is a descriptive data.
Perfect. It is a descriptive data. And since you have seen that it is a descriptive data, which is right in front of you, is it a fact now or a dimension?
Hmm. I think
Is the patient's table describing each and every patient to us? Just be answering yes or no. Is the patient table, is it describing each and every patient to us? Grace.
uh,
Yes now.
I think yes.
See, patient 001,
Yes.
Aminu, is a
One.
male, his age, his city, his zone, his blood group, and his phone number. Right?
Yes.
That is describing. Good. Now, based on your knowledge or based on what we have here, do you think it's possible that we have a repetition of a patient in this type of in the patient data? That is a patient showing more than one time. Is it possible?
No, because we have patient ID.
It is not possible because you have an ID for each and every of the patients. Good.
Patients, yeah.
Is there any form of transaction in this place? Maybe somebody is coming 10 times or 3 times, or we are saying that the person should repeating. Is there?
No.
No. So now, is it a fact table now or a dimension table?
Yeah, I think it's a dimension table.
It is a dimension table.
Yeah.
Now, so who can tell us what the fact table is? We have visits, we have doctors, patients, diagnosis, payment type, VC, department, and branch. Joel, you are saying it is visits. Why is it visits, Joel? Unmute yourself and talk to us.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Why I said it is VC because it contains other dimensional tables, which is the payment, the patient, diagnosis, and the, the payment, the branch, department, diagnosis, the doctors, which all contains the ID of them.
Good. So for here now, we can see that like a as a fact table, number one is that it has a form of connection to all other tables, isn't it? Based on the ID,
Yes.
the patient ID, the doctor ID, the department ID, it can connect to all of them. That's one. But that still has not made it this thing. What has really made it a transaction table is a fact table is because of the transactions. We get to see different visit dates, right? As well as the visit ID. So that means it is possible that a patient can come more than one time, isn't it? A doctor can treat different patients, different dates, different departments, different diagnostics at different branch, different payment method. See, payment method one, payment method three, showing. But we might not know what this payment method exactly is until we go into the payment type table. And we see that the payment method 3 is what HMO. Aha, then we go back. But for us to work on this, we'll have connected it to different things. Are you following me, everybody? So we know that our visit is actually the most important table that we have here, because this is what tells you, gives us the visit ID, it gives us the visit date, the date of the visit, the discharge date, that is if that if that patient was discharged, the patient information, the doctor who diagnosed the patient, the department, let's see what we have in department. So the department that the person went to, are you following me? The diagnosis ID. So we have some diagnoses here. Malaria, typhoid, hypertension, all of them. The ICD code, these are international code. Their category, whether it's infectious disease or cardiovascular or endocrine. See, there are just quite a lot of things to analyze in this thing. And I will take you back to this place, which is our user of the report. What each and everybody in this place is monitoring is different, is different for each and every one of them. And that depicts whatever we are seeing in this place. Are you following me, everybody? So we have the branch
Yes, ma'am.
ID, the payment type. For example, now the medical doctor, he does not concern about the payment type. The medical doctor is concerned about, okay, who are the doctors working, the department, and maybe the diagnostics being done, isn't it? But the what is it called? The finance director wants to know which branch is bringing in money, which payment type is bringing in money. Are you seeing now? Operations want to know what type of patients are we working the most? Is it outpatient? Is it inpatient? All that. Are we following? Then we have the LOS deals, we have the bill amount, money itself. Then the visit status. Is it completed? Was the person discharged? Is a follow-up required? Was the person referred? Plenty things that we're going to be seeing inside of this data. Are we following me? So the 7 dimensions that we have, each of them describe one entity and one entity alone. For example, the patient's table, we know that describes the patient. The branch table describes the branches. The department table describes the department. The payment type describes the type of payment made. The diagnosis describes the type of diagnosis we have. The doctors describe the doctors that we have, their name, their gender, their ID, their specialization, their branch, their qualification, and their years of experience. For some of you, you might not really put attention to years of experience of doctors because majority of you don't really, you just go to hospital and you come back, right? But let me give you a personal example in the country that I currently reside. The type of doctor, the amount of money you will pay for consultation is dependent on the year of experience of that doctor. Let me come again. So you can go to hospital, they will write out the name of the doctor and the year of experience, and they will now put the amount in maybe rupees, dollars, naira, they'll put it in front. So for example, when you want to see a doctor of 8-year experience, you are not expected to pay the same amount of money when you want to see a doctor of 24, 25 years of experience. You can see that is why sometimes year of experience matters, because we are going to see it in the data as well. Oh, maybe more patients died with doctors with lesser years of experience, or more patients are have more positive. You will just see it. Don't worry, don't let me pa too much for you. Are we following, everybody? Are we following? So now we have a full understanding of the data set, isn't it? So basically, I'm supposed to give you a group activity now. Everybody is supposed to go into our Excel file and answer 4 questions for me that I have already shown in the what in this in my slide. Now I have talked about all this already, right? I've talked about, so we're supposed to filter this. We're supposed to open each tab. These are the profiling. So when you have a data set, some people call it what do we call it in data science? Let me just start data. Oh, I've forgotten. I've forgotten that term. There's another term for profiling. But what does it mean? It's just an avenue for you to even first quickly understand what we have in the data. Are you following me? So what we want to do now is we need to first verify the number of rows that we have, the number of columns that we have. Is it matching across everybody? Are you following? Then if they do not match, then we know that there is an issue with our data quality, and we need to note it down in our business requirement document. Secondly, is that in our visit table, are you following? columns are IDs and which of them are going to be measures. So we are going to write two lists on that. Another one, our fact visit table. Because remember that it is that date range that we're going to use to populate our date table in Power BI that we're going to be creating based on the way I told you on how to do it. Are you with me, everybody? Then once we are done, then we're going to know, okay, for our patients, what age range are we seeing? What is the gender split? Are you following? So all these things are what we are going to be writing in our business requirements documents. And I will share the template with everybody now in the group, in the WhatsApp group. So for those of us that are not on the WhatsApp group, I'm going to share the link of all these things in the description below. So I'm going to share the documents now to the WhatsApp group. So just give me a moment. Power BI class phase 3. Yes, the BRD document. So I'm loading it. I've shared it to the WhatsApp group now. So it's loading. So please do well to go through it. So let me try and bring it here. So here we have the business requirement documents. Can we all see it? Can everybody see it? This is the same thing I've shared to the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Try to have it filled. Your name, your submission date, our session 1. So these are 6 questions. What does the company do? Write it in the way you understand it. What business problem is your report going to be solving? This is different from each and every one of you. So you look at it in whatever way you want to look at it. What does your success looks like? And how will the business know that this dashboard is useful? That's section 1. Section 2 now is for each of the stakeholders. I want you to describe what they need to know from your final report in 2 sentences. Oh, the hospital CEO, this is what he needs to know. This is what he needs to know. The branch managers, oh, this is what they need to know. This is what they need to know. Are you following me? Please, it will be good that you do this thing. You listen very well. You do it. You think deep. I will not say you should not use AI, but I am only giving you this template because when you are having data sets, for you to start using the data set, you might need to think analytically. And that's why I took my time to create a template for you. So when you have a data set that is not this BankyHospital, follow this frame of mind as well. Are you following me? Because when you know what your stakeholders want, you know what you need to report. I am not just reporting all over the place. I have written 6 analytical questions here, and I want you to write additional questions that you have identified. Right? Write it inside this place. Then I need you to profile the data. What is your profiling? What are the number of visits, rows? What are the columns in the visit? What are your key observations in the visit table? In the patient, same thing, date, same thing. Then give me the what? The visit date. Now, I'm not here to spoon feed you. We are going to work on this together. But this one, you will do it yourself based on what I have been teaching you and I've been saying all this while. Are you following me? Good. So you have to submit this before Tuesday. Now, these are some of the KPIs that we are going to be working on. Total revenue, average bill per cities, total visit, average length of stay. How are we going to know that I want to build this KPI? It's going to be based on the questions and what they want to see. Are you following me? So for you to work on a KPI, this is how you work on it. Okay, total revenue. What does total revenue calculate? It tells me the sum of bill amounts in naira. And the context is across all visits. Because what does filter context mean? Remember that our filter and context determines whether it's going to be a measure or a what? Or a calculated column. That aside, the way you're going to be doing your modeling as well. That aside. Good. For example, the way you're going to write your DAX as well is dependent on your filter context. When you want to write average length of stay, you can see that I have told you that average length of stay is only meant for who? The inpatient. Because a patient that is not inside, that is not an inpatient person, we will not need to calculate the number of days the person used, because you have to be on a hospital bed for us to know the length of stay of that patient, which is the LOS days. Are you seeing it now? And on and on and on. So feel others. Are you following me? Then from there we go to our report title, the page title. What would that page answer? So our final report does not necessarily need to have just one page. In this place, I have said maybe you should have at maybe 6 pages at most, but your report should be around 3 to 6 pages, and each of those pages should serve a clear purpose for a specific audience. Oh, page 1 for our HOD, the CEO. Page 2 for our branch managers. Page 3 for our managing the director of doctors. Page 4 operations people. Page 5 so and so. Are you following me? All these things I'm doing is because I need you to put your mind into the amount of the next few weeks into what you want to do. It look as though it is stress, because this is the first time you might be doing something like this. But this is what, if you have familiarized yourself with it, you don't necessarily need a document to guide you any longer. In your mind, you already have your pen and paper to show, oh, this is what I want to show, this is what I want to show, this is what I want to show, this is what I want to show. And it goes on and on and on like that. Now, what will your dashboard title be? What color scheme are you going to use? And why does that color scheme, why are you using that color scheme? Does it fit healthcare? You know that this thing that you're doing now is also going to allow you to know how you want to do your wireframing for each and every of the pages, your structure of reports. And that is all that we have in this what? In our BRD document. Are you following me? So, what is a business requirement document? What I have shown you all this while. It is basically the contract that exists between you, the analyst, and the business that you are working for. Are we following? Is the contract between you, the analyst, and the business you are working for. It says that you understand what you need. Or I understand what you, the business, need. Here is what I am going to do, what I am going to build. And here is how you will know when I am done. Because everything that you have said in this document, once we have accepted it and say, oh yes, I want to see this, I want to see this. So if I'm showing this, I'm showing this, I'm showing this, that is how they will know that you are done. That is what success looks like. In a real job, submitting a dashboard without a BRD is like a builder that started construction without a blueprint. You might build something impressive, but it might not exactly be what you are asked to do. Are you following me, everybody? So in this phase, right, our BRD is the first thing that I want you to submit. I want to see it before we build any single visual. Because if you cannot write down what your dashboard must answer, you are not ready to build it yet. Now, when we did Banky Homes, the real estate, I was the one that gave you exactly what I wanted to see, isn't it? And that is usually not the case sometimes. Because your stakeholder will just tell you, this is data, find something to me. Right? But now, we are doing it ourselves. So we have to think deep. Because if you cannot write down what your dashboard must answer, you are not ready to build that dashboard yet. So your BRD template, like I showed you, has 6 sections: the business context, the stakeholders, the key analytical questions, the data profiling findings, the KPI for you to build, and your report structure. And I want you to start filling them this night, because there are some of them that I've already talked about already. Are you following me, everybody? So now, that is that. So we've talked about each and every of the sections in the BRD. I've shown it to you. I've also shown you what everything that we have there. So now I have shared the BRD to you or your WhatsApp group already. And for those of us who are following online, the link is going to be in the description below. Now, 3 things I want you to do before next class on Tuesday. First, I want you to complete that template and submit before Tuesday. All 6 sections. Submit it in that WhatsApp group. The way you have submitted your beautiful wireframes today, submit it before Tuesday, so that I will give the necessary feedback where needed. Second, I want you to continue profiling the data. Go beyond the fact visit data. Open the diagnostics. Look at the 60 diagnoses that we have there and their severity level. Check, familiarize yourself with everything. Because the more familiar you are with the data before we open Power BI at all, the more and faster you will build everything we need to build. Thirdly, before we open Power BI next week, I want you to answer this question in plain English and write it down now. What is that question? Which branch do you think is the most profitable and why? Not which branch has the most visits. I said most profitable. I did not say with the most profit. Most profitable. So write your prescription and we are going to check it against the actual number when we build the analysis. And we are going to discover whether your instinct was right and why it was right. And it is one of the best learning experience we're ever going to have where you're learning Power BI for data analysis. So our next session, which is going to be next week Tuesday, we're going to clean these data sets. We're going to transform these data sets. We're going to open Power BI on that day. You all bring your data sets, you bring the BRD, and we bring our commitment as well. Once you have done all this, we'll start going deep down into the data sets. So thank you very much, everybody, for staying tuned. This is the wrap for our first session in the phase 3 of our Learn with Banky free Power BI classes. Now, I want to welcome you all to the real work, because for the next 5 weeks, you are not just a student any longer that is following instructions. You are all going to wear the hat of an analyst, right? Now you have a client. Now you have a data set. Now we all have a deadline. And that is exactly the experience that we are all going to be using, especially because we need to build our portfolios. We need to build our confidence. Are you following? So, thank you very much, everyone, and see you next Tuesday. We grow together. Good night and have a wonderful evening. Bye bye for now.